Mic check.
The work never stops, even if the machines do at SFR Seed in Newport, Arkansas.
I haven't milled this all the way, but it's good.
Hallie Schaffner's focused on potential at her 2,000-acre operation, a family business specializing in seed production and research. Hallie is carrying on a mission her mother started back in 1988.
She trained me in how to increase pure seed stock of soybeans and rice. And it's been a journey of me learning what she did and then adopting new practices in the field, particularly in terms of rice work.
Which is somewhat new to the operation, now growing and maintaining about 20 different rice varieties in partnership with USDA.
We've been very lucky to have them helping us out in the field so that we can build our own rice purity program.
Raised in these fields, Hallie spent her childhood between the rows.
When I was little, my mom gave me an option. She said, you can go to church with your grandmother or you can go scout cotton with your dad. And that, as a kid, that's an easy choice, right? Because he would take me to McDonald's and we'd get, which he still does today. We'd stop and he'd say, go pick me 100 squares. And so we'd go out, we'd pick them, bring them back to the tailgate, open them up, look for bugs. And those are some of my best memories with my dad.
After college, encouraged to get out of ag, she lived all over the world, from Nashville to India, back to Seattle to Arkansas, then Peru and Spain.
I tried a lot of different things. I tried grant writing, I tried nonprofit work, I tried marketing, and I really didn't find anywhere where I fit in.
But agriculture was calling.
My dad needed to retire because he got his dementia diagnosis, and they said, you can come back if you want. If you don't, we'll just shut it down. And I thought, no, I don't, please don't do that.
Working with her mother, in 2019, she took the lead as CEO and continues to focus on growing the business, searching for opportunities in specialty crops and value-added production.
But in the Delta, we're so focused on commodities, we're so focused on volume that we kind of lose perspective on the specialty work. And there is a push now, knowing that the Delta has water, and places like California do not. You know, there's going to be a big push for specialty work here in the South.
And she's doing it while focusing on sustainability.
Farmers are doing their part to combat the 10% carbon emissions that we are contributing to greenhouse gases. We need support from other industries. If we're making the investments in technology that we need to become more environmentally sustainable, other industries need to do so as well.
An exciting future built on the gifts from the past.
I'm extremely privileged. I come from a long history of farming. I'm a 6th-generation farmer. I will inherit land that's been in our family for over 100 years.
A mission learned from those days in the fields with her father and from watching her mother, the scientist.
I watched her walk confidently into every room and speak her mind. She was the expert. And I knew that I could do anything because I saw her do anything, right?
Confidence and precision. She's pouring into every day as she works to carry on a legacy of innovation.
I'm proud to be a farmer. Like I said, farmers are the ultimate innovators. We have been since the agricultural revolution 10,000 years ago. And I just am proud to be a part of that generation.
Congratulations to Hallie Schaffner, the 2024 Top Producer Next Gen Award winner. No step is too big for Top Producer finalist PJ Haney. His farming legacy is being built on deep family roots.
My family lineage dates back to my great-great-grandfather, who was the first African-American to come out of slavery and purchase 60 acres of land on September 14, 1867 in Northumberland County, Virginia.
Today, his family still owns and operates a portion of that land, now spread across 4 counties in the northern neck of Virginia and near the Chesapeake Bay.
I spent a lot of time with my dad. I was his walking shadow. And I tell folks that my dad tricked me into farming. You know, as I was on the floor carpet farming with my toys, I matriculated to the bigger toys, the real ones.
After graduating from Virginia Tech, Haney returned to the family operation looking to build the future with a focus on technology and improving efficiency.
Instead of planning from sun up to sundown, you know, Dad would say, hey, you can take that bubble on that roof and you can work half the night, can't you? And I said, yeah. So he said, all right, we'll get you in a big field so you can work tonight. And that way, you know, it increased our productivity with the equipment by being able to work longer days and longer hours.
One of 5 kids, today he and his 4 sisters still work together on the farm. But in 2010, while helping start and run a nonprofit called the National Black Growers Council, Haney found himself in the Arkansas Delta.
You know, if we had a farm down south, we could probably start planting 3 to 4 weeks before we start here in Virginia. And with the equipment, we have our own trucks. Let's haul a tractor and a planter down and some equipment down, get it done, and then bring it back up to Virginia to spread the cost of that equipment over more acres.
16 hours and 1,000 miles from home, Haney went to work, building a satellite operation in Phillips County, Arkansas. He's learning to plant on raised beds and furrow irrigate. It also opened the door to his newest endeavor, restarting an abandoned rice mill.
And when we went to this facility, we saw I should say a diamond in the rough. We saw an opportunity.
Today, he's running the nation's only black-owned rice mill. And thanks to new USAID contracts, he's helping to feed the world. It's a mission he takes seriously as a farmer and as a member of the black row crop farming community.
You know, in 1920, there were 1 million black farmers in this country, and African Americans owned 16 million acres of land. Present day, there are less than 15,000 black row crop farmers and less than 2 million acres of black-owned land. And if we don't continue to keep our foot on the gas, black men and women in row crop production agriculture are going to be extinct.
A mission he's working to fulfill every day.
And I'm hoping that my interest and my advocacy work will show others in the country and other young men, you know, who I, you know, was in their shoes one day, that through hard work and tenacity and faith, opportunities can come your way.
Congratulations to PJ Haney, a finalist for the 2024 Top Producer of the Year.
We acknowledge and recognize that we are on the historic homeland of the Chickasaw Nation, of which they inhabited. Memphis and all of Tennessee was a long-established territory for many indigenous peoples, including the Choctaw and the Quapaw nations, prior to their forced removal and for some their unforeseen extinction. We have a responsibility to acknowledge these peoples and histories of the lands that we're on. Our ability to live here is a result of direct coercion, forced dispossession, and deliberate colonization. To ignore that is to perpetuate injustice to populations of people that no longer exist in this state, yet have established major societies elsewhere in this country. AgLaunch in the city of Memphis respects the diverse communities it touches, including those that occupied this territory originally, those brought to it by force, and those who have settled here in search of better circumstances. We understand that territorial acknowledgement is only a gesture, but it represents the beginning of our commitment to justice and reconciliation in Memphis and the United States.
I bump my head. Hi, everybody. Welcome. We're so excited to see friendly faces out in the audience tonight. We're also super excited to share with you our newest friends, our newest cohort. I've got a few things that I want to cover before we do that. And I think that as much as tonight is a night of celebration, for us at AgLaunch, it's a representation of a year of accomplishment. Over the past year, we've seen our open innovation model really work. The teams that you see tonight represent multiple countries, multiple states, so we're bringing the best innovation to this area. Not only that, it also represents our farmer first model. The farmers, many of them that are in the room, help select these companies. So we believe that those farmers are helping select the companies, the technologies that will really address the issues on the farm and help us address those issues that are going to help us continue to feed the world. So that's a really important thing to us. We have launched entrepreneurship programs and farmer initiatives in 5 different regions. We're continuing to grow. We have a model in place to launch. In fact, tonight we have some friends watching in Oregon. Big shout out to the Oregon Watch Party. We have friends watching in Kentucky, Western Kentucky. Big shout out there. And then also North Carolina. So we're really grateful for the interest from these other states in what we're doing. We believe that farmers can pick the best innovations for farming challenges, that they will help mentor and trial those companies and foster their development, that they can invest in those companies, they have equity in those companies, and then at some point they'll share in that wealth that comes from the success of those companies. So we're super excited about all of that. Let's see, I wanted to share one example of just some success. We have a company in the portfolio, Organics. They came to us a little bit late, but later stage, they really didn't know what their product would do on cotton and rice, so we were like, we can help you on cotton and rice. And this year, they are reaching that 60, 70 million sales mark. They are building a facility in Western Tennessee, in the Trenton area, which is a distressed county, bringing a couple of jobs there, refrigerated storage. Likewise in Iowa. We've got many friends from Iowa here in the room, as well as back home watching. And so that's a company that's putting down roots in 2 states that have invested in them. Pete read the acknowledgement, and I think it's really important that we also acknowledge many of the people that have gotten us to this point. So I really do want to do a special thanks out to our sponsor, Farm Credit Mid-America. Man, I've been involved with Pete and AgLaunch for, I think we figured up maybe 6, 7 years now. And Farm Credit Mid-America has been there every step of that way. I mean, every time I've been to something, they've been there too. So thank you for that. We really appreciate that. We also have some elected officials, State Representative Karen Camper from District 87 and House Minority Leader. Also, Mayor William Rawls from Brownsville, Tennessee. So we want to welcome our elected officials and say thank you for taking time to be here and learn from us tonight. We want to thank you, say a big thank you to our funders. Gosh, we wouldn't be here. We've got a lot of states represented, both in the virtual audience, but also in here. But my goodness, Tennessee Department of Ag really started it all. I think we counted up maybe 6 commissioners, Tom, that go back and really believed in innovation. So we're thankful for that. The Economic Development Administration is also very important to what we do. Small Business Administration, Launch Tennessee, IN2, Rural LISC, USDA, World Wildlife Fund, and Ag Ventures Alliance. Now, what you didn't hear on there was any large corporate names, did you? We're a nonprofit, and without those organizations, we wouldn't be able to do the work we do. So we really, really appreciate all the support, both in all the resources that you give us. So the local ecosystem partners are also instrumental to our success. We have some of the most phenomenal mentors and partners that can just, I mean, we know agriculture, and those partners know it too. So we've got AgriCenter, University of Memphis, the National Black Growers Council, University of Arkansas, and NOVA, Epicenter, the Memphis Chamber. Appreciate those folks, and I'm really happy to have partners like that are helping us build this ecosystem. And then finally, our board members. So we have a few board members here. We're so happy to have them. Ariel Moinster, I hope I've got that right. And then Dr. Marcus Coleman. I see her on Zoom calls every quarter. Ariel, where are you? Yeah, thank you. Okay. And then Dr. Marcus Coleman, Scott Fullen, Daryl Levin, Corinne Gould, and then former Commissioner of Ag, Jay Templeton, also. Finally, our farmers. Wow, I said we're a farmer-first organization. We really are. The farmers are the ones that really help us do everything we do. And they're the ones that are going to help benefit. We believe that, as I've already said, farmers are going to help us choose the right companies. In the end, when they reap those rewards, those rural areas where farmers live. I was raised on a farm. We lived in a rural area. Like, you had to drive 15 miles to get to another person, right? But we believe that when this model hits and is successful, all of those rural economic areas are going to benefit from it. And I just hope that gives you as much of a chill as it does me. Let's see. I mentioned our regional watch parties. I mentioned our farmers. We've got farmers from multiple states here. If you're a farmer, would you stand up? Take a wave. Yeah, yeah. All right, thank you. We appreciate it. I think that is probably more than I was supposed to say. But I really wanted to make sure we acknowledge so many people. And if I didn't call your name, trust me, it's simply because we didn't want to take the full night, because I see so many faces and I know what you do to support us. We're going to share with you a video about AgLaunch, 2 minutes, quick thing that we're going to actually be able to show at the Gen Show tomorrow in the opening session. First time we've been able to do that. So let's launch that and then we'll carry on with the show.
Farming requires an unparalleled commitment to continue every season in order to provide for a family, a piece of ground, and the greater community. Currently, agriculture relies heavily on antiquated strategies to improve yields and market and sell crops. However, these techniques tend to favor large agribusinesses over the interests of the farmer. There is a new future in front of us, one where agriculture transforms the health and wealth of the farmers, the soil, and the surrounding communities. A future driven by relationships and enabled by technology. A future that includes artificial intelligence and new markets leveraging blockchain. AgLaunch builds networks of farmers that work together to drive innovation and create new economic opportunities. Our farmers support new ag tech startups, conduct field trials, control their own data, and drive investment in new companies. These new companies are pioneering tools for soil health, water management, labor shortages, and resistant weeds. At the heart of this work is a simple idea. Farmers are the key to innovation. And for that reason, they should get a direct benefit from it. AgLaunch has connected innovators from around the world and within our own communities with farmers to create new products and ideas. We also work directly with farmers on value-added projects, new crop trials, and alternative production models to improve sustainability and create local opportunities. Using AgLaunch's model, meaningful solutions will be built. Farmers will share in the profits, and a new pathway will be established to make agriculture more healthy, sustainable, and diverse. Please join us in making a farmer-owned bridge to the future and the next big thing in agriculture.
What do you think? Kind of cool, right? Yeah. I may not have mentioned that I'm Margaret Oldham with AgLaunch, VP of Innovation, and super happy to be here. I'm going to invite Keith Vadroska, who is CEO with Avoya, out, because as you heard, we're building the next big thing in agriculture, and you can't do that without really good people. And we want to pause for just a moment to recognize one of the founders here who exhibits the characteristics of a beloved founder who passed away last year. Juliette McKay with Avoya passed away suddenly, unexpectedly, but she had left an imprint on everyone at AgLaunch and also the fellow cohort members. And I'm going to ask Keith just to say a word or two about that and about Juliet, and then we'll announce the winner.
Am I on? Yeah. Well, thank you, Margaret, very much. It's such a pleasure to be back here. I always love coming back to Memphis. I lived here for 8 years. I don't need a GPS to find my way around, so that's a rare thing these days. But really excited to be in our second year of the Ag Launch program. And wherever Pete is, Pete, I'm really thankful that you came up with a crazy idea of a farmer first innovation model. And guys like me that have been in this industry for 25 years, we know it makes sense, okay? I don't know why it took us so long to figure out that a farmer first innovation model just makes the most sense. So really happy to and I would encourage, well, first of all, congratulations to all the cohorts that got accepted into the program this year. I can tell you this. You're in for a great experience. And some of the best memories I have from last year outside of working with Juliet was talking to the growers. And I've told you this, you have some really top-notch growers. Having the chance to get feedback and to just be in the field talking to guys like Matt Danner or Grant Norwood or Scott Fullen, that is invaluable. To you as a new company, you need that feedback. Some of it maybe you don't want to hear, but it's valuable. So I think you're in for a great experience this year. But let me say a few words about Juliet. It was 1 year ago tonight on demo night that I was sitting right here on the second row in the audience as our founder and CEO, Juliet, made a pitch about Evoya and our technology. And of course, at that time, there was no way that any of us could have foreseen what was going to happen a few months later. And it was just a huge loss for us, a company of about 10 people at the time, and our visionary, our founder, and more importantly, our friend, just suddenly, no longer there. So it was a hard few months, but, we got back on our feet, and we go forward really with the imprint, as you said, of her upon us. And I'll talk a little bit about that. She was always just a pleasure to work with. She was one of those people that I can say, looking back over 25 years in the ag business, that was easy to work with. You'll run into people that are more difficult to work with. I think you know that. But finding somebody that just is so easy to work with, you want to do things for her, you want to work with her, you want to make the company a success, she was all about that, and she just made that easy. I mean, so much to the point that sometimes she would talk you into doing things, and later you would say, why did I ever agree to do that? Just, that was her way. But I would say one of her most defining qualities was her optimistic persistence. And I mean, she was a person who, in her own way that she went about it, which like I said, was easy. She did not give up. She did not give in. And she would always try to find the way forward in an optimistic manner. So that was what I would say. It was just really defined her looking back. And I'll illustrate it this way. One day, after we had hired our fourth person to the team, I laughed and I said, you're 4 for 4. I said, do you think, in other words, she had gone after the 4 people she wanted over time and got all 4 of them. And I said to her, do you really think you can be 100%, keep going, and, always get the person you want? And she said, well, of course. So I just say that about her. She was a real pleasure to work with. And I think that characteristic of optimistic persistence is just something that will reside in our company for a long time. It's just, made an impact on us. It's part of our culture now. And that's the way that people like that impact you. So having the memory of working alongside her for 6 years was great. And I'm really thankful that I can pick up the reins of the company and carry it forward with that memory and with that optimistic persistence. So in that spirit of optimistic persistence, we'd like to announce that the person who is the winner of the Juliet McKay Award is Suds. Suds, where are you?
All right.
All right.
So just so you know, Suds was selected. Come on out. Was selected by, and you've got the award? Yeah. Was selected by his peers and the AgLaunch team that worked with them for the last 6 weeks intently. And Suds, you do really represent so many of the qualities that we find make founders successful and cherished. So thank you for that. And all right, and now, in case you were wondering what happened to those teams from last year, we've seen a little bit about Avoya, but we asked some founders to give us a quick update. And so we're going to watch a couple of quick hit videos. You're going to see most of them were taken from a vehicle as they're not driving, though. They're sitting still. But yeah, let's see what some of our founders had to say. First up, Jackson Stansel.
Hey, this is Jackson Stansel, founder and CEO of Sentinel Fertigation. 2023 was a really good year for Sentinel Fertigation. We had the opportunity to participate in the 2023 AgLaunch cohort during the months of January and February. We went on to operate in 8 different states around the country during the 2023 growing season. Farmers used InTime, our software platform, on 9 different crops. We ran 13 on-farm research trials in fertigated grain corn around the state of Nebraska with the University of Nebraska-Lincoln in 2023. Of the 12 sites that had complete data sets this year, we averaged a $25 per acre improvement in profitability and a 28% improvement in nitrogen use efficiency. So really strong performance there. We hosted sunset seminars around the state to help get the word out to farmers about those trials. We're really excited about 2024, including prescriptions for ground rigs for in-season wide drop applications, and also expanding our crops and geographies. So good luck to the 2024 cohort of AgLaunch, and stay tuned for more updates from Sentinel Fertigation.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Jim Donahue, co-founder of Repro Health Technologies. Our company is creating devices to improve assisted reproduction in cattle. Assisted reproduction is artificial insemination and in vitro fertilization, as well as embryo transfer and flushing. We've actually created a device that improves in vitro fertilization and intravaginal embryo culture device. Since joining AgLaunch last year, we've received a USDA Phase 1 grant for our device to improve cattle production. This is a very competitive grant. We're in the final 4 of the Farm Bureau Ag Innovation Challenge. There was about 90 companies that applied. 10 went out to Salt Lake City, and we were in the final 4. We did lose to a robot, but it's hard to compete against a robot. We've also had investment from Elevate Ventures, Flywheel Fund, and Farm Bureau since that. We're working on a new device to improve artificial insemination, and preliminary results with prototype seem to be very encouraging. That's obviously a very huge market, and we're just really excited to be part of the AgLaunch, and we've received a lot of good input. We're looking forward to doing our trials later on this year with the cows and a couple of farmers in both Tennessee as well as Oklahoma. So it's great to be part of the AgLaunch, and we're really excited to keep progressing and partnering.
Mixed in wonderful, and just added it and went back to planting, and it was very easy to work with.
Hi everyone, my name is Dave Krug. I'm one of the co-founders of Salem 24/7. We're based in Ames, Iowa, and a part of the 2022 AgLaunch cohort. We are developing small-scale, lightweight, autonomous farm equipment. We want to get big, heavy equipment off the field and help farmers address soil compaction, increase yields, reduce costs, and in general, increase the sustainability of their farm operations. So we started in 2022 with a prototype planter. We're on many farms, including several AgLaunch farms. And again, last year we were on many farms. Field testing, farmer feedback is just critically important for us. Our whole product development relies on farmer feedback and field testing. So we would like to thank AgLaunch and the AgLaunch network of farmers for all the support. We also value the lifelong friendships that we've made with our connection with AgLaunch. So thanks for all the support and good luck to this year's cohort startups. Thank you.
All right, are y'all ready? I am like giddy with anticipation. There is so much nervous energy behind the stage right now. All the teams are gearing up, so I hope you're as excited as they are. But before they come out here, I want to tell you about the process that they went through to get here today. So back in July, over 60 teams applied, and from there, we asked over 30 to submit 5-minute pitch videos. The pitch videos were viewed by all of the farmers in the Farmer Network. Thank you to all of the farmers for watching so many pitch videos. As you all know, as Margaret said, this is a very farmer-first organization, and farmers ultimately select the teams, and it is a rigorous process to do that. They've spent hours and hours and hours. So they selected 18 teams to come to Memphis for challenge weeks in November, and then from there selected the 9 that you will see here today. And as I said, they're all giddy with anticipation. They have been going through a 6-week accelerator, and this is the big finale today and tomorrow at the Gin Show. If you're able to make it to the Gin Show, please join us at 10:30. But they've all been working so hard. I feel like a proud mama. And for those farmers in the audience who saw those original pitch videos, I hope you can see all of the hard work that went into getting here today. So with that, we are going to get started. Each team has 5 minutes to pitch. Please hold your questions till the very end. For all of our virtual audience members, please type any questions into the chat. For any of you who are in the audience live, just type them in on your phone or something. And at the end, we will actually have a QR code that you can text the questions, and they will come directly to my phone, and we will have all of the startups up here on stage, and you will be able to ask all of them questions. So with that, I am going to introduce our very first startup tonight, and I am thrilled to introduce Suma Reddy with Gather. So take it away.
Thank you, Sarah. Hi, everyone. My name is Suma Reddy. I am the co-founder and CEO of Gather. We build simplified robotic tools for farms and farm workers to increase harvest efficiency and improve farm worker safety. So first, an exciting announcement. We recently completed our first prototype demo at HMC Farms in California. And Drew just says, it just gets the job done. This one farm represents up to over $200,000 in potential recurring revenue. So why are we here? Everyone in this room knows we're facing increasing pressures on our ag system. Fragile supply chains, conservation demands, but when we talk to our growers, they say one word: labor. Our farms are facing an urgent and growing worker shortage, 20% on many farms today, exacerbated by an aging and declining workforce. On top of that, we're facing rising labor expenses. Just in the past decade, we've seen a 32% increase in California with expenses and increasing worker energies. Thousands and thousands of injuries that are happening every single day on our farms, increasing because of rising temperatures, droughts, and extreme fires. And we might see this. 30% of a farm worker's time and energy might be spent transporting crops via a wheelbarrow, a technology invented in 231 CE in China that hasn't changed much since. With that in mind, Gather was born to create simplified robotic tools for farms and farm workers, starting with crop transport. Gather is a purpose-built tool that transports crops between picker and packer pairs in rows. The wheelbarrow is hitched onto the robot and autonomously goes up and down a row. It involves seamless integration into existing operations with three main features: minimal setup and training, very, very simplified operations, and a compact and lightweight device. This simple product has three main value props. One, recapturing lost revenue that might occur because of the labor shortage, up to 20%. Secondarily, an up to 30% efficiency gain per season, measured in boxes or bins picked. And third, importantly, a better, safer work environment for our workers. Very important, especially in this tight labor market. And Drew here from HMC, a table grape and stone fruit grower in California, says, "I like this. It's a utility device. It doesn't need to be that smart. Our farm workers would appreciate this. It just gets the job done. No real training, an easy thing to customize, and believes that this could be a universal device year-round." And in terms of our competition, we differentiate in a very clear way. One, cost. Our competitors are selling autonomous transport devices for $20,000, while ours is priced at $6,000. Two, easiest to use. Ours weighs 90 pounds versus 300 to 400 pounds of competitors. No GPS required, no base station. And because of this nimbleness, we believe that we have the largest market potential, an accessible device for the largest farm as well as the smallest to medium. And we make money through direct sales, $6,000 a pop, and or a rental model for a few thousand for a few months. And we believe that this is a massive market. If we just look at one state and one crop, table grapes in California, the revenue potential is $62 million. If we add a select group of other crops, that revenue potential grows to $1.4 billion in the US and over $33 billion globally. And we love this space. Dominic and myself have worked in ag for over a combined 20 years, working with table grapes, apples, sugarcane, leafy greens, herbs, carrots, and more. Dominic is based in the heart of the Central Valley in Merced, building ag-robotics technologies for corporates like Morningstars, as well as commodity groups like the Washington Tree Fruit Association. I'm a serial founder as an ag tech and climate tech expert, building renewable energy infrastructure projects with a couple multiple exits under my belt. And we are running. We are a brand new company that just incorporated this August. September, we received our first batch of funding, $350,000. And then, of course, very, very proud to be an AgLaunch member, getting accepted into the program in December. So we're here today because we're raising $750,000 to unlock revenue. We can manufacture and sell 2050 units to our table grape growers in California. So thank you very much, everyone. Please join us as we build the future of work in agriculture.
Thank you, Suma. I don't think Suma had any of that nervous energy I was talking about, do you? I think she did great. So really appreciate it. Next, we are going to introduce George from Upstream Biotechnology. George was dancing in the back, trying to release some of his nervous energy. Yes, I do tell secrets, George. So George, take it away.
So as Sarah said, I'm George Green from Upstream Biotechnology, where we are engineering seed traits to enhance crop performance, particularly in soybean and in corn. Our primary focus is disease resistance. So we know from greening in citrus to blast in rice to rust in soy that single pathogens can threaten entire sectors of agricultural production. But you don't need to be at the level of an epidemic or a pandemic to threaten your yield on your own fields. So we know in the US, we're losing millions of bushels of potential production in soy to a wide variety of pathogens each and every year, be it soybean cyst nematode, mold, frog eye leaf spot, all these combine to threaten your potential yield in your fields every year. The trick isn't how do we respond to and defend against a single pathogen, it's how do we create technologies capable of protecting against them all. So traditional breeding can protect you against a very narrow range of pathogens, be it just one specific pathogen or different types of that one specific disease, but it leaves you susceptible to a wide variety of other diseases. Luckily, the genetics that gives you the ability to respond to multiple different pathogens, whatever they may be, is starting to become very well known. The problem is the challenge of deploying these in the field has never been very straightforward. The original approach of just stick the trait into the plant and let it go indeed gives you high levels of resistance to any disease, but it results in these very spindly, tiny plants that aren't capable of growing to a commercially viable product. So the first tweak to these technologies were to control where they were expressed in the plant. If I'm trying to defend against a foliar pathogen, I'll be on the leaves, but I'll be susceptible in the roots and shoots. So gains in one area are costing you in other areas. What Upstream has done is we've designed a way for these same traits to be pathogen responsive, where they are turned on as soon as you detect the pathogen in any tissue, you defend yourself, you clear the infection, and then you turn off. And so the narrow range of trait function for only when pathogen is present allows you to have the elite resistance with the maximum growth and the maximum yield. And so from the lab, I first brought this into rice. I challenged with a variety of pathogens. I'm just showing you blast here, and you can see the reduction in the lesions from our plants compared to the control. So you have a variety of elite resistance traits. And on the right, you're seeing our yield in fields with not much pathogen growth. We just kind of missed pathogen in this field trial. But in the blue, you see the normal rice. In the red, you're seeing the traditional GM approach where you can see everything is just performing worse. And all the other colors are different variants of our technology that brings you at least back to normal rice. So you're not seeing any drag on your yield when there is no pathogen present. So I'm delivering elite resistance and at least no cost when we're not needed. But what we are delivering is benefit in infected fields. So we're going to protect your crop throughout the entire season from planting to harvest, where seed treatments really give you the narrow range of just seed and into seedlings, and then you're likely to spray fungicide when you see disease symptoms after flowering. But the trick is those diseases aren't really infecting at flowering. They're infecting in the earlier stages of the growth cycle, where they're establishing infection and then proliferating and then causing your disease symptoms later. So Upstream is there and protecting you in that window where you're not seeing the pathogen attack, but really it's coming for you. So Upstream is going to delay the onset of disease symptoms in your field at the very least, and this is going to give you a chance to reduce your potential inputs because you're going to delay the onset of disease symptoms to where hopefully it's not going to matter for your overall yield. So again, you're going to spend less time out in your field, you're going to spend less time scouting for disease, you're going to spend less time worrying that when you picked your seeds months ago, you picked the wrong trait for that year for that pathogen, because we're able to respond to a wide variety of pathogens. We've lessened your worry. We know that there are a variety of ways to get to multiple disease resistance, being able to respond to a variety of pathogens. We know from breeding you can start stacking traits, and from chemistry, you can use the broad spectrum fungicides. But in the field, these technologies are losing their effectiveness as pathogens and disease are evolving to overcome them. Upstream represents the next wave of technologies capable of providing the elite resistance you're looking for with the ease of just planting our seeds. So we're going to deliver the seeds by partnering with an agricultural manufacturer, think BASF, Corteva, Syngenta, Bayer, and you're going to get this through your normal distributor, and they're going to combine our traits with their other elite traits, and you're going to just plant them into your field. We receive revenue on the bag of seeds sold and also on some upfront licensing fee for when we first give these seed manufacturers our traits to develop. So we're a GM trait. The GM crop market is pretty well established. It's very robust, pretty stable, and dominated by corn and soybean. Our first market is soybean, where we're expecting to penetrate with about a 3% market penetration, depending on the strategic partner that we couple with. We're really looking to deploy in fields where you're consistently using fungicides to control your disease symptoms already, and that's where we see our earliest adopters coming from. So we're not just soy, we're moving into corn and into canola with our multiple disease resistance trait, and then we're moving beyond resistance for drought tolerance and nutrient use efficiency as we begin to expand our product pipeline to deliver value into your fields. Upstream is going to license this, of course, and each licensing is an influx in cash and the beginning of revenue streams. So as we begin to stack traits in your offering in your seed portfolio, you see us really build out and flesh out multiple avenues for revenue. Upstream really is a passion project for Shinyan and I. So Shinyan is an established professor at Duke University, really a world-renowned leading researcher in how plants respond to microbial pathogens. I did my PhD under her at Duke University. It's really the commercialization of the technologies I engineered and designed while at Duke that is the commercial basis for Upstream, really bringing this from concept to proof of concept to in the field to deliver value. So I just want to highlight our sort of transition from academic spin out to grant funding to collaborations with the strategics and with AgLaunch as we start to emerge into field trials for this year and next year as we begin to put the legs on proof of concept for the field data that will essentially prop up our licensing agreements. So we're here today really looking for input on pricing and performance on these traits, but of course always looking for partners for fundraising. So you're going to really, at this inflection point, provide us the support system as we start to expand into new traits and into new crops. So I want to thank you for your time. And again, I will be out in the lobby for questions later. Thank you so much.
Thank you, George. Well done. All that dancing in the back worked out that nervous energy. So as I introduce the next CEO, a little backstory. So Ben Booth is the CEO of Soil Metrics, and Soil Metrics went through AgLaunch365 several years ago. They had some changes in leadership and asked if Ben could come through AgLaunch365 again. Our farmers are very dedicated to the success of the companies in our portfolio, and so they said, of course, we would love to have Ben come through, but we made him go through all of the challenges that the other teams had to go through, just to be fair. And Ben came out smelling like roses, and the farmers still loved Soil Metrics, so I am thrilled to announce Ben Booth with Soil Metrics.
Thank you. Thank you for coming here tonight. I'm the CEO of Soil Metrics, and we're using artificial intelligence to build some of the smartest tools on earth. So, as one of the early engineering leaders at Uber, we used magical user experiences combined with data science to disrupt the cab industry. And I'm here to share with you tonight how we have a very similar opportunity to do a similar thing to the way we manage soil fertility today. Profit margins are being squeezed, and precision ag isn't saving us. In 2022, we saw a huge increase in input costs. The most obvious and crazy example was potassium, which increased nearly 100%. Hasn't gone down much in 2023, and row crop prices this year have been trending lower across the board, with a few minor exceptions. It's interesting then also that when surveyed, only about 40% of US commercial farmers claim to be actively adopting variable rate application equipment. So in today's economic climate, with all this potential savings and yield being left on the table, you have to ask yourself why. Well, we've surveyed from North Dakota to North Carolina and Tennessee, and one of the common threads in all the conversations I'm having is that precision ag has a lot of data. There's a lot of data that's needed to do it right, and there's a lot of data that's generated when you do it. You've got to collect it, you've got to fill in holes in the data, you've got to massage it, you've got to combine it with other data, you've got to get it ready to push it into your equipment. Once you run the equipment, you've got to pull it back out, you've got to send it off to somebody. It's a massive headache, even for people that are trained to do it. Well, I can tell you from the early days at Uber that this is a solvable problem, and Soil Metrics is here to help. So I'd like to introduce FieldHand. FieldHand is an AI-driven traditional web and mobile application that helps turn your fertility insights into income. We do this in three important ways. One is we use massive fusion of data to create machine learning models that allow you to very precisely plant and to amend your fields. This allows you to maximize the value of your variable rate equipment. And two, we provide continuous soil updates versus the updates you might get very infrequently otherwise. This allows you to manage the current soil conditions, whether that be climate that's changing in an unforeseen way, or some other kind of crop emergency. And then 3, because we're using artificial intelligence and machine learning, every new account makes our machine learning models smarter and more applicable and more powerful for each customer. So it's wise. To give you a sense of the opportunity that we're confronting, this soil industry in the US alone is a $6 billion a year industry. So how does this work? Well, when we get started, it looks a lot like a traditional field test a soil test that you might do with your agronomist. We set up boundary data. If you don't have it, we'll create it for you. Otherwise, we'll use the data you have. We'll get a new traditional soil test to train our models and to train our machines. And then we'll order, once the grid test comes back, in less than a week and eventually less than a day, we'll have automatically generated soil fertility maps for you. Those maps, what's different is that those maps get continually updated, and we can set up monitors in place throughout the growing season, depending on what you're trying to do. Then our data management software will allow you to create VR scripts or to automate a lot of the other processes around soil management decisions that you may have to make. Here's an example of a field. In this example here, we're showing how you can compare different fields. You can select the fields you have. We'll be able to do year over year, potentially month over month, week over week type comparisons if that's applicable. So how are we doing this? Well, we've patented a process that takes satellite imagery and combines 2 forms of machine learning to generate high fidelity fertility maps. And because we're using satellite imagery, remote sensing, this allows us to scale soil analysis in a way that's never before been possible. So some of the important elements we kind of alluded to earlier with what we're calling smart zones, that's these maps that we speak of, is that they're continuous. So your traditional soil testing gives you data about once a year. If you're really on it, if you're like a lot of people, you're rotating your soil test the best you can for economic reasons. I've seen 5-year cycles, I've seen more than that. This is a continuous update with multiple updates to your soil and your zones throughout the year. It's also precise. A traditional grid sampling is usually, if you're not doing some kind of zone sampling method, it's traditionally in a grid of 2 to 2.5 acres, sometimes 5-acre grid cells. We can provide 10 square meter precision. This is a dramatic improvement in level of precision if you can imagine the lines you can draw that way. And it's cheap. We can generate the same data you can get from a soil test, averaged over 3 years at about $3 per acre per year versus the 10 to 15 you might pay with a traditional test. When you compare us to our closest competitors, the full service agronomy company, Farmer's Edge would be a good example. There's others, Agrilytics, there's some good ones out there, smart SWOT maps. Because of the remote sensing technology that we have that is now patented, we can scale the way we do analytics in ways they can't do. And as I mentioned earlier, the data that we can provide is streaming and continuous, so we can change within the season. And when you compare us to the agronomists, the common pair of the independent agronomist and the soil test lab, our data management capability and the way we can integrate with the rest of your operation is something that they can't match or can't manage on their own usually. We actually think this is going to be our customer, so this is going to be a channel for us. And then last but not least, soil optics is an example of a heavyweight, fairly expensive, but usually pretty cool attachment that you can make in the field. You can run it over your fields. Again, they have problems scaling in the way that we can. And our data now has the fidelity using our modern technology to match or exceed a lot of the precision results that they could get. Not expecting you to read this, there's 3 key takeaways here on the slide. The first is that we're going to sell through the agronomist, and the agronomist could be potentially an advisor. So we'll have models, different features for the different types of advisors you might have, and you may not have an agronomist in-house, so we'll have an in-house option for that if that's the need. The second is that our channels is going to be through the agronomist, but we will have a B2B channel as our data models are improved. So as we sell to more customers, we build more models, the models get smarter, we will eventually be able to monetize the models behind the devices that we're building. And then third, I want to talk about the market. So there's a couple of different ways to look at this. One way, as I mentioned, is the $6 billion a year soil testing industry in the US. We think we can chip away at a percentage of that. And second is if you look at $3 per acre per year times the 95 million variable rate acres in the US, that's a $285 million a year business just in the US in variable rate alone today. That's about 5% of the soil testing industry. So there's a lot of upward growth, if you can imagine. 20% of the US soil testing industry would be 1.2 billion. So to date, we've done a lot. We've taken about $500,000 in investment overall, and we built a successful proof of concept. We've engaged with a local farmer in this area to start a trial, and we've been granted a patent claim on our technology. We've got other patent pending, and we've got a successful business partnership with a brand new development vendor, Matchpoint. In 2024, with $1 million in funding, we're going to expand the development team. We're going to hire a full in-house agronomist, full-time agronomist. We're going to get through farm trials, refine our product market fit, and we're going to build some of the key features needed to launch V1 for Field Hand this year. In the 24-month roadmap, we've got prescription management automation, we've got mobile experience, we've got different kinds of maps for different kinds of problems that are adjacent to fertility, such as water, for example. And beyond that, we're looking to expand internationally in years 3, probably, with Brazil, with Argentina, and eventually India and Southeast Asia. So our leadership team is me, Ben Booth. I'm a veteran of multiple startups over 2 decades of my work. Most recently exited with Uber, as I mentioned. We've got Julie Bielski, who's our CTO. She's also a senior engineer at with Google. And then Professors Jeffrey White and Bradley Miller, who are faculty advisors and inventors of our technology at NC State and Iowa State, respectively. And then Pavel is our resident consultant agronomist. He's a published PhD with over 2 decades experience and has written a lot of the book about soybeans and timing of soybean planting in southeast United States. So with that, thank you for coming tonight. I encourage you to grow smarter by trialing your farm with us or investing with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. All right, before I call the next team up, one of the themes that you may notice tonight, you probably haven't noticed it yet because not enough teams have pitched, but we have a lot of ag biotech companies in this cohort. And the reason is our farmers think that there is a huge opportunity in the ag biotech space, everywhere from environmental sustainability to crop resilience to increasing farmer profitability. So this next founder that I'm going to call up is one of those companies that was selected in the ag biotech space. And with that, I would love to welcome Sumit to talk about Reagent.
Hi everyone, my name is Sumit Verma. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Reagent. A myriad of innovations have emerged in our quest for a sustainable agriculture, and microbial biological inputs are most promising and foremost amongst them. While the promise of biological inputs in agriculture is undeniably exciting, the reality often falls short of our expectations. Their adoption has been slow. Farmers need biologicals that show high efficacy and consistent performance in various field conditions across different soil types, across various seed varieties. Reagent has developed a patented biological technology. Our biggest product opportunities in soy yield enhancement and wheat biocontrol applications have been field tested for several years with very promising results. But we are currently focusing on soy yield enhancement in the US. Our products integrate well with existing farming practices. They are stable and easy to handle. So let me show you what makes our technology so unique. Similar to how the human body produces metabolites such as triglycerides and serotonin, microbes also produce their own set of metabolites. And our fundamental insight hacks into the idea that plants respond to the metabolites that come off microbes that are present in their environment. Plants treat these metabolites as signals and respond accordingly. Plants' genetic mechanism, including their immune system, their gene upregulation, actively search for these signals and then determine that this is the right location for growth. The microbes present in the plant's environment also interact with each other through their metabolites. Now, we discovered microbes with a unique ability to utilize a specific natural compound, enabling them to produce more metabolites and consequently build more robust relationships with plants as well as other microbes that are present in the plant's environment. So our research revealed that plant beneficial microbes have what you might think of as metabolite producing circuits, actually 2 circuits. The conventional biological products were only turning one of these circuits on, the second circuit was off. Our approach switches on the second circuit, and that's the unique aspect of our technology. And we filed patents on this discovery on all major continents of the world. And the patents are issued, they are granted. But in addition to the patents, our IPS strategy also includes our manufacturing and formulation know-how. One of the largest agri-inputs company in the world selected our company amongst hundreds of different biologicals companies to collaborate and evaluate our technology. And that partnership has been going strong. In addition, we have built partnerships with many other small and large companies, farms, as well as distributors and ag retailers. So as I mentioned, we are currently focusing on soybean yield enhancement application in the US. And here is a snapshot of the work that one of our corporate partners did in its research farm. Here you can see in this chart 3 gray bars that represent our treatment, and it shows how significantly improved the number of pods per plant of soybean was compared to the other conventional approaches represented by the other 3 bars. But in addition to these controlled environment validation, we have done our own field validations. And here is a snapshot of the trial we conducted in North America across several locations. Here is a snapshot of that trial in Indiana, where our product showed 8% increase in yield in soybean compared to the standard product we included in our trial, which showed just 4% increase in yield compared to untreated control. And here is another snapshot from the same set of trials that we had in Alabama, where our product showed over 12% increase in yield. So for farmers, the value is increased yield that translates into increased earnings. And our model shows that by spending about $8 to $10 per acre, the farmer will get 4 times that investment. Crop inputs is a huge $200 billion market, but biologicals has a very small share in it. But it's growing very fast. And we are covering currently soybean, but our vision is to cover more and more crops. And we believe that this is a huge opportunity for us to make an impact in agriculture. My co-founder, Dave Warner, belongs to a farming family that has been involved in farming for their last 10 generations. In addition, he has over 4 decades of experience in bringing innovative solutions to the market for companies such as Indigo, Monsanto, and Corteva. I worked in the chemicals industry for 15 years before starting Reagent. And throughout my career, I have been involved in understanding my customers' unmet need and then bringing innovative solutions to fulfill those needs. I'm a chemical technologist, and I also earned a master's degree in management from Stanford University. So we are raising $2 million, and with this $2 million, we are going to expand the scope of our farm trials. We are going ahead very aggressively with registrations in the US, and then we want to register and initiate sales as soon as possible. So far, we have raised $1.9 million from various investors in North America, and we are raising additional $2 million as our seed round, which is still open. So we can't wait to put our products in the hands of farmers and see the impact of our technology. We are very excited, and if you have any questions or you want to learn more about our technology, please talk to me. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Sumit. So I mentioned that all of the teams tonight went through a 6-week accelerator that is ending this week. And next, they will get to start their farm trials with the farmers in the AgLaunch LLC. And I have to say, this next team, I think I ask weekly if I can trial their technology, because I, with all of the livestock on my farm, could find all kinds of uses for it, especially when they escape. So I am thrilled to announce Wandering Shepherd and Neil Helfrich.
Hello, everyone. I'm Neil Helfrich, CEO and co-founder of Wandering Shepherd. We track the health and location of livestock, making producers' life easier and protecting their investment. The problem with RFID ear tags is that they cannot perform temperature or location features, causing miscalving in breeding cycles. And they only produce a manual identification number. So how big is the problem? The number one concern with producers is actually death during calving season, which equates to about $2 billion per year. Our solution monitors the temperature and location of the livestock. We have 2 different sizes, one a small breed size that lasts 3 years and a large breed size that lasts 10 years. And it is made with food-grade plastic, so it's safe to be inside the animal the entire time. So how do you administer our solution? Very simple, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, you actually hold the wireless rumen bolus up against a cow magnet and wait for it to activate. You will receive a text message that it has been activated. And thirdly, you use a special balling gun to administer it to the livestock. Our software can be viewed on any internet-connected device, even in your vehicle. I'd like to explain about our software platform. This is actually from our proof of concept. So if you notice the cow 336 in red, she actually calved a half an hour after this reading. The one that's in the yellow, 156, she calved about 2 hours later. So what are the benefits of our solution? We save the ranchers time, money, and reduce stress. Compared to our competition, we are the only bolus that can perform location. We have one for small breeds, and we have one that actually changes the frequency of time depending on the temperature of the livestock. Our business model is very simple. We offer monthly, yearly, or a one-time purchase of our technology. The software is included, and we're also offering a full service feature as well. So we will monitor your livestock for you. If there's any issues, we will actually contact your vet and have them sent out. The market that we're going after is actually the 2.8 million beef cattle in North America, which should equate to about a 289 million ARR based on 20%. Our financial projections for 2026, when we reach 20,000 total installs, should be about $1.375 million. Our team is made up of myself. I actually won an award for a very early satellite GPS ear tag. I won't say how long ago that was. And I was also selected for the very first IBM Smart Camp. My business partner is Sheldon Archibald, who's a purebred cow-calf producer, running about 300 head. and operating 2,500 acres. So our progress to date, we have proof of concept, which you saw earlier on that dashboard. We actually have our small breed design ready for manufacturing. We are doing our egg launch field trials later this summer here in the US. And we hope to have our US-based manufacturing facility open early next year. So we are raising a pre-seed of $500,000, which will get us to 20,000 installs and an annual ARR of $1 million. I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, please come out to our table and we'll thank you very much.
Thank you, Neil. Well done. All right, we are just a little bit over the halfway point. Aren't they doing great? I know, I'm such a proud mama, as I said. So, as I said, at the end, we are going to have time for questions. So please do not forget your questions. We want you to ask them. And as I said, there will be a QR code for you to text them in, or we can go into the audience and ask them. For anybody in the virtual Zoom room, please chat in your questions. Also, if you are interested in any of these companies and would like to hear more about them, in your agenda or in your program on the agenda sheet, there's a little QR code. Just scan it, fill out the form, and mark what companies you're interested in finding out more about. And we will make sure that that gets back to the founders, CEOs, so that they can contact you. So with that, I am very excited to introduce our next startup, Sudarshan Dwarknath, with Quorum Bio. Suds, are you back there? All right.
Thank you, Sarah. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much to the cohort for choosing me for the Juliet McKay Award. It means a lot. As you're going to find out, we are an early stage biotech company. I've got a lot of peers who did PhDs with me in biotech and went to a lot of other industries, could have made cosmetics, could have done a lot of things. I am so grateful and loving being in agriculture. There's something different about farmers, something different about being close to where our food comes from that makes my life meaningful on the day-to-day. And so I love being here and so grateful to be a part of AgLaunch. At Quorum, we are thinking about the following. Fact 1, fertilizer is not cheap. Fact 2, fertilizer is so important to achieve crop yield. So to me, that means when a farmer spends $1 on fertilizer, that dollar better go into the crop. I was so shocked to learn that this is not how phosphorus fertilizer works. When a farmer puts down phosphorus, the majority of it is trapped by the soil. A very tiny amount actually ends up in the crop. This is why you have to build up your soil levels to get that to meet the critical P level before you can actually feed the crop. Farms are spending a lot of money on this kind of phosphorus fertility. $61 billion goes into P fertilizer every year. For US row crop farmers, that's around $3 billion. This is a 100-year-old technology that has worked like this. For 100 years, phosphorus fertilizer has been this inefficient. Does it have to be this way for the next 100 years? At Quorum Bio, we engineered microbes that are painting a very different picture for the next century. Our microbes grow along the roots of your crops and access those decades of phosphorus, those $1 billion of phosphorus fertilizer that is sitting inside of your soils. Farmers will be able to apply less fertilizer and maintain or increase crop yield. We are early stage, as you can see from this photo, but we have a bright future ahead of us because we are very good at what we do. We are turning this technology into a form of a seed treatment or something that you can apply in furrow with your starter fertilizer. You'll pay a low upfront cost, and when you reduce fertilizer and get higher yields, you'll get as much as $85 per acre back. Now, I know this slide is something farmers have seen very often from biologicals companies, and it has not quite panned out, and that's a problem that our industry has got to grapple with. At Quorum, we are dealing with this by making biologicals in a radically new and different way so that we can actually make something that works for every grower every time. We use gene editing. This is the new era of biologicals, and here's why. First of all, gene editing is safe. Every microbe we work with, every gene we put in, every molecule that our microbes make already exists on your farms and on your crops. What gene editing lets us do is guarantee you that our microbes will be expressing those genes, turning on those genes, and working on every single farm every single time. That's how gene editing works. Because of that, we are bringing the reliability of biologicals closer and closer and closer to the reliability of chemicals that you know and trust. The second thing gene editing lets us do is we can tailor our biologicals to your crop and your farm. A wheat farmer on a high pH soil in North Dakota will get one solution from Quorum Bio. A corn farmer on a neutral pH soil in Iowa will get a second solution from Quorum Bio. Each will work best for your unique crops and farms. Gene editing lets us make biologicals tailored to your farm. That's how our products will outcompete both the chemical and biological phosphorus solutions on the market today. Let's take Sound, for example. Sound's product is applied post-emerge, so it doesn't help that seedling access phosphorus. It doesn't help with vigor and emergence. Ours will. Phospholution's product is great, but doesn't increase crop yield. Ours will. Mosaic and some of the other biologicals companies are known for products that don't quite work consistently, farm to farm to farm. With gene editing, we have cracked that problem. Our product will work the same way on every farm. We are very good at gene editing microbes. We are all PhD scientists at Quorum Bio, experts in gene editing, experts in plant science. My co-founder spent 10 years at Lawrence Berkeley National Lab developing the most powerful gene editing technology the ag biologicals industry has seen to date. And we have exclusive access to that technology. We are using that to make biologicals that work consistently. We are also serial entrepreneurs. We've started 6 companies between us and sold them for hundreds of millions of dollars. We're supported by people who know agriculture, like AgLaunch and the USDA and Ag Ventures Alliance, and people who know how to bring hard tech solutions to market. But we're early stage, as I said earlier. It was just last year that we developed a new mode of action that helps plants take up phosphorus. We filed a patent on it. This mode of action doesn't exist in any biological product in the market today. Quorum will be the first to bring that to farmers. This year, we're running demos with 2 major Midwest seed companies, while we're also filing for regulatory approval for our product. That will let us run field trials over the next 2 years and bring our technology to market in 2027. We are the industry's leader in gene-edited microbes. What I'm showing you here is a graph. All bacterial life that humans know is plotted on this graph. And so something on the bottom corner towards me is genetically very different than something on the top left corner. That's what this graph is showing. Everything outlined in red are microbes that Quorum Bio has genetically engineered. So that's quite a large footprint on microbial life that we can engineer. More than Corteva, more than Indigo, Quorum Bio is already the leader in genetically engineering microbes. What does that mean? It means that today we're developing phosphorus solutions, but tomorrow it's iron deficiency in soybeans, drought in Texas cotton, and anything that you need us to develop, we can do. And that's how we would love for you to support us. We'd love for you to participate in our customer discovery, guide our company so we can make solutions for you. We're Quorum Bio. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Suds. So I mentioned with the ag biotech companies that there was a lot of opportunity for environmental sustainability and farmer profitability. And I think SUDS shows exactly that, right? The opportunity to be able to utilize that phosphorus in the soil that isn't otherwise attainable. I am very excited. I hope you all are too. So this next company is in the same realm, but I'll let Doug tell you a little bit more about it and how he can work with the microbial companies that you are seeing on stage today. So Doug, take it away.
Thank you, Sarah. My name is Doug Toll. I'm co-founder and CEO of Rise Bio, where we are developing technologies to empower farmers to measure the performance of biological inputs. Now, farmers are looking for alternatives to chemical fertilizers, and they're turning to biological inputs. These are like probiotics for the soil and the plant, and they're designed to be applied at planting, and they colonize the early forming root of the plant to provide services such as improved nutrient uptake and improved immunity. Now, this is a rapidly growing area of agriculture. In fact, there are 1,200 companies just in the United States selling to US-based farmers. And in a recent survey, more than 20% of farmers indicated that they have either used these products or intend to use them in 2024. The challenge with these products is sometimes they don't work and sometimes they do work. And why is that? Is because soil is a biological system. It's variable. And so farmers are asking the question, before I invest tens of thousands of dollars to purchase these products, will they work for me? And if so, which ones work best? And so we are answering that question through something that's called root microbiome analysis. This is using next generation DNA sequence, advanced technologies that are available in other industries. And we are using this technology to analyze that early forming root microbiome. This is kind of like human gut microbiome testing, except instead of testing human samples, we're actually testing the root-associated soil in treated and untreated early forming crops. And then we have designed our proprietary bioinformatic pathways to target those pathways that are most important for crop health, such as nutrient cycling and stress tolerance. Now, we take that data, and through a proprietary algorithm, we've developed something called the Rise Bio score. And this is an effort to predict performance of these products on unique farmer soil and with their seed. So this is an example of a trial we did recently where we have a control on one side versus 3 different biological products, and we've applied the Rise Bio score to this. And when the farmer went back and compared the yield of that year to our score, we found that they correlated. Now, this is one example, and we need to continue to fine-tune our process, which is why we're involved with AgLaunch and other trials. But we see here an opportunity to use next-generation DNA sequence and microbiome profiling in order to predict crop performance in the field. Now, we have competitors. The difference between our Rise Bio and our competitors is that our competitors are focused on the bulk soil, that where 95% of the soil is dormant. In the rhizosphere, microbes are active. They're recruited by the plant to provide services to the plant for improved productivity. And so we are focused on the rhizosphere, and that's where we get our name. And we think that makes us unique. Now, our go-to-market plan is a 2-phase approach. The first phase is a contract research organization approach where we are engaged with and contracting with biological input manufacturers that want to demonstrate the performance of their product on their trial farms. In the second phase, we see significant opportunities to identify, develop, and commercialize biomarkers. Biomarkers such as, will this biological have a response, will my soil respond to this biological or not? Will I have a yield decrease? Seed selection, nitrogen mineralization potential, and others. And so that's our phase 2 approach, and it's a direct-to-farmer approach. Our total addressable market for our initial phase, CRO-based, we estimate at about $150 million, the direct-to-farmer at about $2.2 billion, and then the total market, global market, is over $14 billion and growing at a double-digit rate. So these are our projections. We estimate we started in mid-2022. We estimate that we can generate over $400,000 this year, become profitable in a couple years, and then hit and exceed $20 million in 5 years. So my name's Doug Toll. I've spent over 25 years developing advanced diagnostics in healthcare. I pioneered metabolomics for the detection of rare diseases in pediatric patients, and I've identified a number of biomarkers to assess things like prediabetes and kidney function failure. My son Josh is my co-founder. He has over 10 years of experience in marketing and business development. Lauren leads our laboratory just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, and Justin is our PhD bioinformatics scientist who has over 10 years of experience studying nutrient cycling within soil environments. To date, we launched commercially and have generated $52,000 of sales. Just in the last several months, we've have commitments of over $500,000 in trial commitments. We have 2 provisional patents and are involved with 2 excellent accelerator programs. And we have great relationships with our laboratory, agricultural lab partners, as well as biological input manufacturers. Now, as I said, we started mid-2022 developing out our technology, our bioinformatic pipelines. We pivoted in mid-2023, and we validated our approach throughout that year. Now we're in a $1 million pre-seed raise. We've raised $700,000 of that, looking to close that out in the next couple months, and then we intend to raise another $3 million toward the end of this year. We'll use that money to meet our revenue goals, as well as invest in IP, and we'll also launch our version 2 biological bioinformatic pipeline. At RiseBio, we are taking technologies such as metagenomics that have been only applied and available in other industries, applying that to agriculture to provide farmers the answers they need to the questions they have. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. So, you all know about AgLaunch365. What you may not know is that it is not our only program for entrepreneurs. We have a whole suite of programs for different levels of entrepreneurs, from very early to AgLaunch365. So the next team came through our boot camp program over the summer, which is where we, the AgLaunch team, fell in love with Eddie and his co-founder Gabe, encouraged them to apply to AgLaunch365 because, as you heard, we don't choose the teams who participate in AgLaunch365, the farmers do. So thankfully, the farmers also fell in love with Eddie and his co-founder Gabe, and I would like to introduce Eddie to the stage tonight to talk about his technology.
Thank you, Sarah. First, I want to say thank you, AgLaunch team, the farmers, and the community for giving us this opportunity. The past 6 weeks have been transformative. We would not be where we're at right now without you all and AgLaunch. So thank you. With that, my name is Eddie Mejia. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Earnest Agriculture, and we are designing probiotic consortium to increase crop yields for farmers, essentially matching microbes together in the team where they're effective on the field and they increase your yields. Intensive agriculture has changed native soil microbiome. The overuse of fertilizers and pesticides have caused these native microbes to be inefficient at plant growth. Luckily, in protected, untouched prairies, there live microbes that both protect and promote plant growth the way nature intended. So at Earnest, we took 2,000 of these microbes back to our laboratory, and we put it through our proprietary algorithm. The algorithm looks at 3 things: the conditions the microbes thrive in, the mechanisms they use to benefit the plant, and the research they consume to design and optimize the perfect microbial consortium to increase crop yields. Traditionally, single microbes have been used to increase crop yields in the biological space. But at Ernest, we know there's power in numbers. We carefully design a consortium and we deliver it via seed coating, with the goal to protect against disease, insects, and weeds, promote nutrients, soil health, and drought tolerance, and most importantly, perform in various conditions. And we also know that we're performing 45% better than the leading biological competitors in this space. And we know this because we conducted a field trial this past year. And on corn, we're showing a 7% increase versus untreated corn plant. And on soybean, we're showing a 6% yield increase versus untreated soybean plant. So we're really excited about these numbers, and this year we're going to even prove that out even more. So to give you perspective, an Illinois farmer makes about 217 bushels per acre, or $980 return. A farmer using Ernest in a bad year would make a 2% increase, or $16 per return per acre. That includes the cost of our product, and it does not include the savings of the input for a farmer. On a great year, they would make an 8% increase, or $77. So this is pretty substantial numbers, especially for U.S. farmers where the average acreage is 500 acres. And we are rolling out two different products. First, our biostimulant called Prairie Power. It has drought tolerance and nitrogen fixation. And then Prairie Power Plus, which is our biopesticide, and adds the ceiling disease defense. At Ernest, we're revolutionizing crop enhancement by having consistent efficacy without the hassle. Our balanced solution does two things. It allows the crop to optimize its needs from the consortium microbes, and two, it allows it to have consistent quality and efficacy between our biostimulant and our biopesticide. We're a B2B business, so our aim is to co-develop and license our product to seed developers who would then sell it to farmers. It costs us about roughly $2 to create the microbial liquid and coat the seed, and then we sell it to distributors for $10 an acre. So we see an 80% profit margin. Initially, we want to focus on U.S. organic feed. The reason we chose organic is because they have the minimal amount of tools to increase yield. And the reason we chose feed is because it's the easiest to get through regulatory approval. Next, we will go U.S. and Brazil, corn and soybean. The reason we chose Brazil is because it gives us 2 growing seasons within the year, so consistent revenue. And eventually, all global row and specialty crop valued at $18.5 billion. And we're really excited about this year, especially because we're part of AgLaunch. We're doing global field trials across the United States, Canada, and Brazil. So over 2,000 acres, and I'm really excited about that. Today, we raised $1.2 million, and now we have a $1.75 million round, which will help us get our EPA certification for our biopesticide, get our IP protection for both our products, and then support our field trials this year and the next. I do want to say that we have 70% of the round committed, and so we're just looking for a lead. So again, my name is Eddie Mejia. I'm a 3X founder, military veteran, computer engineer, and MBA graduate. I've also been to Iraq and Afghanistan, and I work for 5 Fortune 100 companies. My partner is Dr. Gabe Price, who studied microbial ecology at Michigan State and University of Illinois, and that's where the technology really comes from. He's the one that developed it, and I'm just out on the street selling it. So, we've been a part of various programs, so Mass Challenge, VentureWell, University of Illinois' iVenture Accelerator program. We just finished Indie Bio program last quarter, Generator AgTech, and then AgLaunch Catalyst, like Sarah said, and then now AgLaunch365. Our advisors include Dr. Santiago Maderas. He's a leading plant pathologist at the University of Illinois. He's helping us do our biopesticide trials. He's actually licensed to apply disease to the field. Doug Ford is a large Midwest distributor in the Midwest. He covers over 8 states, and we've been working with him for over 4 years, so he's a really good partner and a friend. And then Josh Cutter is actually a conventional farmer that just switched over to organic, and he farms out in Ohio. So we're looking for a lead investor for a round, for a $1.75 million round, and we're always looking for crop farmers in corn, wheat, and soy. Again, we're Ernest Agriculture, and we're designing probiotic consortium to increase crop yields for farmers. And like we like to say at Ernest, it's grow time. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. All right, y'all. we have one more team, and the CEO that I am about to introduce absolutely loves pulling up the rear. So I am excited to introduce Tracy from Grip. And as I said, I hope you have been thinking about all of your questions, because after Tracy goes, all of the startups will come to the stage and you'll have an opportunity, getting that word out, an opportunity to ask him any question you want. So with that, I am going to introduce Tracy.
All right, welcome Memphis. How's everyone doing tonight? It's so, wait, hold on. I got a weird little wicked glow here. I'm gonna turn this around here. As Sarah said, I am the CEO and founder of Grip. Before I share what we're building today, I want to introduce all of you to the world's most expensive record-keeping system for agriculture. I'm sure all of you know what it is. I think some of you still use it today. It looks like this. Any hands in the audience? In the back, there you go. Don't be shy. Now, while some of you might use expensive telematics to track a portion of your most expensive tractors, most of us do not, and the rest of the things we own are neglected. This has become the norm across agriculture and most farming operations. Very little of your information is digitized, and virtually none of it can be used to create a more cost-efficient operation. The problem is it's 2024, and these very basic questions cannot be answered reliably by farmers. They think they know the answers, but they do not. These are things like, who used this last? Where is this? When's the last time I serviced this? When's the next time I service this? And perhaps more importantly, how much does it cost me to own and operate this thing? As an investor, you might recognize this as the Dropbox moment of agriculture. This is the farmer's technology tool belt of today. Now, I'd love to say this is the chief technology officer of Ag's tool belt, but we all know farmers don't hire CTOs, and so they're left to fend for themselves with whatever they know. That's the no-tech option like paper forms, your whiteboards, the fleeting memory we all have, to low-tech options like Trello, spreadsheets, or the social media apps your children taught you how to use, and pockets of expensive sensor-based software or user-based apps that weren't built for the farmer, leaving the one farmer, typically the owner, as the bottleneck of information on the farm. And so we've built Grip. Grip is the easiest way for you to tag and track anything on your farm. Grip is universally accessible. You all have mobile phones, so do farmers, and at this day and age, every one of us knows how to scan a QR code. Grip also doesn't require apps or passwords, making it accessible to everyone on your organization, including the seasonal workers that come and go throughout the year. And we also prioritize pictures and videos over the keyboard. The last thing you want to do when you're sitting at the moment of truth in front of that piece of equipment is pull out your phone and type a book report with your thumbs. Everyone knows a picture and a video tell 1,000 words, and those words can be transcribed, translated if necessary, summarized, and searchable for your organization and your team to learn from and get better at their job. Farmers love us because our pricing is very simple. We don't charge by user, and we don't charge by asset. Here's a couple examples of things that we will be tracking with Grip this year. Here's a grain leg, an apple packing line, irrigation valves, controlled atmosphere rooms for your storage, orchard trees, H2A housing inspections, pickup semis, tender trucks, and of course the tractors and numerous implements that you all love. Grip plugs the holes in senseless repair and maintenance spend. You know, everybody sees, hears, smells things on your operation. The problem is there's not an efficient way to say things, to report them. And forget about routing correctly, confirming, or using that information to save costs or create a better organization. Those last three items, by the way, typically fall to the farmer, the owner, after a tired day, the things that they forget from the rest of their staff. Grip closes these gaps. It allows you to take the daily conversations, activities that happen on your farm, and use those to optimize for the next planting season instead of the one or two catastrophes that you remember from last year, keeping more of your margin in your pocket and giving you back your most valuable asset, which is your time. GRIP is led by myself and Jenkin Lee, head of product. We've got an extensive background in technology, startups, venture-backed private equity, having raised well over $70 million with a couple of exits under our belt. You can see I also own an extensive set of equipment, and I operate it today, and you can see how I used to track things before GRIP. I know this problem firsthand. Jenkin owns a residential construction firm out of New Mexico, so you can see how he uses GRIP to make his operation more efficient. And our team is rounded out by a couple of hobby farmers and a hydraulic technician. If there's anybody in agriculture that's going to solve this, it's us. Now, we're excited about our traction. The dots here on the map is the interest we've seen to GRIP in the last 6 weeks, since the Ag Launch promotion and a couple of timely articles in farmjournal.com and the Daily Scoop. Now, one thing I want to make very clear, GRIP is not equipment dependent, location dependent, or crop dependent. We've got H2A housing, cherries and apples up in the Pacific Northwest. We've got fruit and veg in Colorado and New York, and of course, row crops, cover crops, and dairy across the Midwest. We even had a fishery in Kentucky reach out to us last week. And I'm happy to say we've had 3 conversions to revenue last week, and we expect 50,000 of ARR over 20 customers in Q2. Now, we originally started in the largest percent of farms. These are 6%. There's about 100,000 of those across the US. It's the largest growers and packers across the country. Using the AgLaunch partnership, we are moving into the small and medium-sized operation and really trying to understand how to adapt GRIP to make their operation sing. And we think there's plenty to chew off inside of agriculture. We've had a lot of interesting discussions with OEM equipment manufacturers, service providers, and dealers who love GRIP because it brings them close to their equipment-owning customers, which is everybody in this room. And once we nail ag, we will move into other adjacent heavy industries like construction and oil and gas. We're not currently raising funding, but we expect to launch a $2 million seed round in the spring to fund our first 100 customers. At GRIP, we like to say, get a grip on your stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. All right, I would like to bring all of the teams to the stage. It is time for Q&A. They all did an amazing job, didn't they? Woo-woo! All right, if you are here in person, please, and you have a question, please scan the QR code and text the question. It goes directly to my phone. If you are on Zoom, please put your question in the chat box. So you will see there are more people here than what you saw pitch. That is because we have teams that are more than one person, and we wanted everybody a chance to get on stage today. So they are all on stage. So I haven't heard my phone buzz yet, but Margaret is going to be asking questions from the virtual audience, and I will be answering questions, I'm not answering any questions. I'm going to be asking the questions for any that come through on my text. So, and as these teams know, I just wait patiently until somebody asks a question.
I've got one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. First question is for upstream. What is the maturity group of your soybean, and what herbicide chemistry can be used on it? That came in through one of the watch parties.
So the maturity group is 3.0, and that's all we have in right now. It's Williams 82. No traded herbicides can be treated, but you can use non-traded herbicides, so there are avenues. When it becomes commercially available, it'll be coupled with the traded herbicide, and so you'll be able to integrate it that way, just like you would your normal elite germplasm. Thank you.
And if you're in the audience here and just want to speak into the microphone, just raise your hand. I'll come to you.
So this one is for Tracy and GRIP. Why agriculture? It seems like there are broader uses for the product, so why start with ag?
I think we started with ag because it represents the greenest field opportunity for us. You know, if you look at application tracking, fleet tracking, those types of industries, there's applications for those that already exist that those companies, those industries are using. There isn't anything for the farm. And so if we can solve this for the farmer, we know we can move into other industries without having to worry about, you know, backloading historical data that might exist in these other spaces. So it's a very solid challenge for us. It's a very difficult challenge. When we win that, we know we'll easily be able to expand.
Got one from Iowa here for Wandering Shepherd. Statement is, don't think I heard, but assume and hope and encourage Wandering Shepherd to be in parallel development of additional sensor suites beyond temperature. So do you want to address what else you've got?
Yes, actually, we are looking at monitoring blood pressure, correct? So their heart rate, yes. So that'll be in a future version, hopefully testing maybe early next year.
And of course, the most important thing is location, location, location. Right.
All right, I have one for soil metrics. How does your analysis compare to Haney, PFLP, or TND tests?
So our approach to analysis is agnostic when it comes to baselining our tests with a traditional soil test. So we're actually going to go into trials with folks that want to do Haney tests, folks that want to use traditional Mehlich 3. But there's another related question that's fairly a long question I'd like to summarize, kind of related to this question, is what's our philosophy around recommendations? So some of these recommendations were built in the 60s and 70s in regards to how to build soil up. And in a lot of ways, that's kind of antithetical to the regenerative agricultural movement today. So our approach is to align with your agronomist. If you have a relationship with agronomists, and you have a relationship with a particular lab, they have a recommendation style, we're going to align with that and not be too opinionated at this point. We are going to facilitate automating and making it very inexpensive for you to do analysis, regardless of the philosophy or the method. That's our approach right now. That may change as we move along, but I think for now that's the right approach.
All right, thank you. I have a lot, Margaret.
Okay, let me get one in then.
Okay.
So from the folks, let's see, what crops, this is for Gather, pardon me, what crops are you targeting besides table grapes?
That is up to you. As farmers and growers and processors, we are starting with table grapes because we have developed a use case. We know the industry very, very well. But what we're looking for over the next year is for you to tell us where to go next that has market potential and that can solve a real problem. So that said, you know, we're looking at blueberries, right, things of that nature, but, you know, it's a wide open field, and we want your ideas, so please approach me if you have ideas.
All right, I have one for any of the biological companies. What are the safety regulations and how restrictive are they? Oh, send it over to Eddie. He's got it.
Yeah. So there's two paths with the Environmental Protection Agency, the biostimulant, which is governed by state, and then the biopesticide, which is governed by the U.S. government. The biopesticide is a lot more expensive. It requires a lot more testing to get it certified. So for like our solution, it cost $1.2 million to get it certified. So it's a big hurdle, but it isn't easy for everybody to get it. So, and then it's different if you're genetically modified, which is a little harder. You want to talk more on that? GMO micro?
Yeah, GMO generally falls under the USDA because they regulate things that are edited. But I'm also not an expert on genetically modified organisms.
I am.
So at Quorum, we start with microbes that are already in use by biologicals companies. We put in genes that are well understood. And so there is a path that has been demonstrated by Pivot Bio already to create safe solutions that the government also recognizes as safe and low risk. And that's what we will do.
All right. I have a question coming in from Oregon. So, for Wandering Shepherd, are you considering the pet market?
Do you want me to take this one? No. No, sorry, no, we're not. They don't have a room in it. But actually, funny story is the reason we came up with the technology was because my wife bought a brand new dog, and as soon as she put it in my hands, I said, wouldn't it be neat to track it all the time? So it actually started from pets. So, but no, we're not going after that market.
All right, Margaret, do you have more, or
Yep.
should I continue? Okay.
No, there's one here for, let's see, Rizant. Sumit, how is your product applied?
So for soybean yield enhancement application, our product is applied as a seed treatment, and it's in powder form. And it has to be dissolved in water and then treated with seeds. For wheat application, our product is applied as a foliar application, and it's a liquid product.
All right. Do you have any more, Margaret?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I have two, and they must be from a pig person, which I love. One for grip. Could your tech be used for traceability of biosecurity of trucks for transports of pigs? And then one for Wandering Shepherd. Have you tried your tech in swine and in sows?
I think so. I don't know that market specifically, but we've designed grip to be able to be flexible enough to track anything. I mean, we've literally had orchard trees to people to semis that go through DOT audits, all the above. And so I'd love to learn a little bit more about what it takes to track that industry, but I'm pretty confident we can handle it.
All right, pass that mic down to Wandering Shepherd. We have to hear about their technology and pigs.
We'd like to help the hog producers, but unfortunately we can't. The hogs don't have a rumen. We have such an upside to our market with ruminant animals, and I mean that's the design. I mean there's tags available for hogs, but our focus is cow-calf producer, beef, feedlots, and beef producers with the rumen. But there's 200 ruminant animals that circle the globe, so there's lots of potential for ruminant animals for us.
I would like to say that was one of my first questions to them too. Anybody who's had an escaped pig knows how important that is. Anything else from you, Margaret?
No, anybody in the audience got something? I'll come to you. All right.
Well, please give these teams another round of applause. They've been amazing. So we're about to let you go, but before we do, I just wanted to say thank you to the hardworking team at AgLaunch. You see Margaret and me up here on stage, but there is a huge, well, I can't say huge, but there is a team of support behind us that pretty much do most of the work. It's just our pretty faces up here. But thank you. I am going to start listing people, and I'm probably going to forget. Brandy does pretty much everything all the time for us. Gavin and Paul up there on the farm team. Katie and Alex, who are hosting their own virtual watch parties tonight, but have helped put on seminars for the accelerator. Tom, wherever Tom is, our fearless leader. There are so many people. Who am I forgetting, Margaret?
A couple of new people.
I said our fearless leader, Pete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
couple of
Sorry,
new people.
Pete.
Deja
Deja started 2 weeks ago and is already like doing so many things. Who else?
Madison.
And
Raja.
Raja. See, my brain is dead. It's been a long week.
And
Anybody
our extended
else?
team with Katie Ellis out in North Carolina with the watch party, Dr. Tony Brandon in Kentucky with the watch party, and Alex Paraskevas in Oregon.
Yes,
with the watch
and
party.
Jane
So-
Chadwell, who
Yes,
is
thank
being
you,
the,
Jane.
the Zoom ninja tonight. So thank you so much for all of those people and the support they provide for these amazing teams. So from here, we are going to go back out to the lobby. You'll have the opportunity to ask more questions in person. Please, the bar will be open until 9. So if you need some more drinks, you can, I know the teams are gonna run out there. They've been itching to like get something to drink for a while. Please go help yourself. We want to thank our partners who provide so much support and allow us to be here today. And then as you leave, we are going to play more alumni videos. There will be 5 videos. You are welcome to stay and watch, or you can run out to the bar.
And which videos are we going to watch?
We are going to hear from Avoya, Tracker Sled, Motion Grazer, Re-Envision, and Inatrex. So
awesome.
You'll hear from those teams. And this is an annual event, so we can't wait to see you here in person in a year from now. So thank you all.
Awesome. Thank you all. Yeah. Great job. Woo. So proud of you.
Mother Nature has figured out how to initiate rebirth after fire to quickly make fields greener and healthier. Now, thanks to Avoya technology, farmers can see the same rebirth and renewed vigor in their crops through healthier plants and stronger root systems, which results in greater yield potential.
With Avoya, we want to see that it's able to enhance the crop, enhance the development of the plant.
And Avoya technology performs. Applying the product as a seed treatment or in furrow helps plants get off to a stronger start.
Early on, we was able to see it seem to emerge a little quicker. We was able to see a little bit better root growth. You can get the plant started at a good early stage, growing really good, and get that up and going. I think you have a lot better chance of seeing that in the yield and a better plant at the end.
In addition to better performance, Amplifier is easy to handle and apply.
We was just able to add the product right to our in-furrow chemical. It mixed in wonderful, had no problems whatsoever there. Really fast and easy ability to put it in, and just added it and went back to planting, and was very easy to work with.
With better performance and ease of use, Amplifier offers growers a great opportunity to adopt technology to enhance crop performance.
We're always interested in continuing on trying new products and trying the products that seem to be enhancing our production. Give us another tool for the toolbox, as they say. Ability to make healthier plants, and healthier plants typically make bigger yields. So that's what the name of the game is, I guess.
To learn more about how the power of fire can bring results to your farm, go to www.evoya.us.
Hi, I'm Larry Kearns with Tracker Sled with a quick 1-minute update. Our sun farmer solar generators help row crop farmers and livestock farmers decarbonize their operations so that they can become 2 to 10 times more profitable. During the past year, the USPTO granted our patent on this technology. Kudos to AgLaunch, who helped introduced me to some attorneys who could get me back on track when I went off track. Also, during the past year, we've had a lot of interest and validation of our value prop, but what stood in our way is UL certification for the safety behind these solar generators. So that's what we're doing now. Also, we redesigned our platform from last year to be somewhat smaller so that EPCs with only a telehandler can fully erect this without having access to large cranes and that sort of stuff, and crane safety. So that's something we learned over the past year. We're also looking at now variation where the sled can be merely a transfer sled for EPCs who are heavily invested in piling operations. So generally speaking, full steam ahead.
Greetings. My name is John McIntyre, and I am the CEO of Motion Grazer AI, where we are using farm-based artificial intelligence and machine learning with a goal to improve farm profitability. This is done by improving animal health, welfare, and productivity. We are a proud member and being supported by AgLaunch, and we also have received a grant from the National Science Foundation. Motion Grazer uses what it is called a sim kit, and this is a camera mounted in the alleyway of barns that connects the breeding and the birthing section for breeding sows, so pigs. We take images of the sow as they pass through this alleyway 4 times per year. That data is maintained and stored in the cloud. We continue to have machine learning with each pig that walks through this system. And we have a data collection device or a computer that communicates with the cloud. From this data, we can take calculations to determine body condition of the animal. We can also determine lameness, and there are other characteristics which we are continuing to evaluate. Since becoming a part of AgLaunch, we have advanced significantly, and this has been over the past year. We were down here at level 3 in the development of the sim kit. We have now gone through and are clearly up to the point of having a demonstration prototype that we can put up in a barn. It is fully functional, although we do have to have one of our engineers present to run it. We are very near achieving level 6, which is a representative system prototype. And from there, we will advance into an actual system prototype, which will lead us to our first commercial product. We are very excited to be here. It will take us about 8 weeks to accomplish the actual system prototype, and then we expect we will be off and running towards that commercial product. Thank you very much. I appreciate your attention.
Hey everybody, Jason Reiner, founder of Re-Envision Ag, here from sunny North Iowa. With temperatures in the 50s that we're not used to in February, we could go out and be test planting. But our new prototype row unit is currently being assembled, and we've used input from farmers all along the way to drive all of our decision making, including a trip to Memphis where we had a trial that we tried to do with the AgLaunch, but it didn't go so well. And we used the information we learned really to drive the innovations that we're going to bring to market in 2024. We've got our own closing system, our own seed meter, and electric controls for the cab. I want to say thanks to Grain Weevil for the decorations at the Iowa Ag Expo of our new row unit. And we're really looking forward to releasing more throughout the spring trials. Take care.
Hello, Happy New Year. I'm Jerry Lee, CEO at Inatrix, a fast-growing biopesticide company in RTP, North Carolina. In agriculture, the chemicals are being used to control critical pathogens and pests. but they are losing efficacy because they have been used in the field for a really long time. And also they triggered a lot of health concerns. Our solutions are safe, eco-friendly, and because of a lot of regulatory advantages, we are much faster and save a ton of money to develop our product.
We're developing products that prevent pests and pathogens from damaging crops without being toxic or harmful to the environment. Our products are designed to be sustainable because they prevent the development of resistance.
The three big chemical companies already started testing our products in their hands. We right now targeting 3 critical pathogens: leaf blight, citrus greening, and soybean cyst nematode. Altogether, the obtainable market size is more than $800 million. In the past 3 years, we have already confirmed our products are working to control pathogens on the crops. In our vision, after 2 years, we should get our first product to the market or close to be commercialized. And by then, we hopefully could raise more funding Series A to develop further products in our pipeline. And also, we could be, anytime we could be acquired by one of the big chemical or biological company.
Hey there, we're Lee and Sydney Dunn. We own Intracoastal Ag, a crop scouting and soil sampling business. We also farm about 500 acres here in eastern North Carolina. Our main crops are grain sorghum, corn, and soybean.
Nematodes are a huge pest on our farm. We estimate they cost anywhere from 10 to 25% of yield annually. Soybean cyst nematode in particular thrive in our sandy coastal plain soils and do extensive damage to our soybean crop. The options for nematode control in grain are limited, they vary in efficacy, are costly, and in some situations require special handling and equipment.
We recently did a small field trial with Inatrix to test our RNAi solution, and we saw really encouraging results. Using that solution reduced nematode numbers dramatically on our soybean roots. We're excited to work with the Inatrix team to run more field trials and see just how far these Inatrix products can go towards controlling nematodes and increasing our yields.
Thank you very much. If you are interested in what we do, come to talk to us and join us.